Hi everyone, I'm Jess from Jessica's Art Studio, and today I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek, a little preview into my Valentine card making and decoration workshop. On Thursday, February 11th, I'm hosting a Valentine workshop that uses my Valentine art kit. If you haven't purchased one yet, go ahead and check it out online. There are a few left, okay? So don't miss out on this workshop. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to show you guys a whole bunch of different cards that you can make and decorations, but I wanted to give you a little sneak preview this week to get you thinking about it because I'm super excited for Valentine's Day. So the card we're going to make today, inside of your kits, you guys have a bunch of stuff. We're going to use a couple different pieces of cardstock today from your kit. Whatever colors you want to use today, it's totally up to you. You're also going to use your white container of acrylic paint, your red container of acrylic paint, your pencil, and then a couple of extra things that aren't inside of your kit that you might want to have on hand today. I'm going to be using a sponge to do my printing today. I just cut this off of a new sponge that I got so I can use the other half of the sponge for something else, and this half will be for my art project. I'm going to use my paintbrush because I'm going to show you kind of two different ways that you could go about making this card today. I also am going to have a roll of tape to stick down some pieces of paper today, as well as a pair of scissors to help me cut out some heart shapes for today. Okay, so go ahead and grab those things, and then once you're ready, we can begin. Okay. All right, so the first thing I did was took a piece of cardstock, and I'm just starting with white, and I folded it in half because I want to have a sort of a smaller card today for this project. To make this heart shape, right, that's in the middle of your card, I'm actually going to cut this heart shape out of a different piece of paper, stick it down with tape, and then we're going to add paint over the top of it so it sort of leaves this shape behind when we go to peel it off later, okay? So the piece of paper, this is just like some scrap paper that I have on hand. I'm going to use this today to draw and cut out the heart for this card. Never a bad idea to sketch it out first, right? That way I don't just go hacking into my paper and end up wasting paper. Awesome. So I drew out a heart here. You can kind of see it with my pencil. And now I'm going to cut it out. Okay, if you've got a lot of scraps, maybe you want to keep them, maybe you don't. I'm just going to scoot them off to the side here. I also want to say, right, for the other version of this card, I'm doing the same process that I did just a couple of minutes ago when I started this one. Instead of having one giant heart, this one is going to have 3 hearts, different sizes, okay? So that one's sitting off to the side because I'm going to show you that one in a minute. So now that I have my heart cut out, I'm just going to take some tape and roll it into small, small pieces to stick it on the back. If your tape is super, super sticky, which mine is, doesn't hurt to rub it against your clothing for a second and rip it off so that it doesn't end up scraping off the white piece of our paper when we go and rip it off later. So just as a pro tip, okay? I'm gonna roll this into small pieces and add it to the back of my heart. Okay, you don't have to go all the way around the edge, but it is important that we keep the edges down for this project. Since we're going to be putting paint on top of it, we want to make sure that there's not going to be any spaces or any gaps between our white sheet and this purple sheet. Just a couple more here, and I think we'll be set. Here, and then maybe 2 more. I'm gonna do one at the very bottom and one at the top. Okay, sweet. Got my tape all over it. Stick it to my clothing just for a second or two so that it's not as sticky. And now I'm going to add it to my card. Make sure that you've got it facing the right direction, right? Whichever way your card opens, you can think about that. Mine's going to go right in the center here. And now I'm ready for my paint. So I've got my heart stuck down. I'm going to use a little bit of red and a little bit of white. And you guys know what happens when you mix red paint and white paint together. We will get pink paint. I'm gonna use my paintbrush here. bit of red, and a bit of white. Ooh. Okay. So for this first card, like I said, I'm going to show you guys kind of like two different ways to make this. I'm going to do the first one with my sponge. So taking my sponge, I'm going to start with a red and I'm going to dip it in here. Dip, 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 get it all covered, right? And then while my paper is closed, my card is closed, I've got my purple heart on top, my white paper on bottom, I'm going to start to sponge right on top of that design. I like using a sponge from time to time because I think it creates a really fun texture. Okay, if it starts to run out, I can dip it in again. Our fingers might get a little messy with this. So make sure that your art space is covered. You're wearing an art smock or art clothes just in case. Awesome. Okay, now that I've done some red, without even rinsing off my sponge or doing anything else to this, I'm gonna go right ahead and dip it in the white. Okay, just like that. And then I can sponge some white on. And if I sponge enough, some of these spots will turn into pink. And maybe I want some pink. Maybe I don't want as much pink. If you don't want as much pink, just let the red dry a little bit longer. And then instead of the white and the red mixing, the white's gonna sit on top of the red. I'm okay with a little bit of mixing here, so I'm just gonna leave it actually. Okay, maybe I'll do a little more at the top. That looks good to me. So I did get a little bit messy. I'm not too worried about it. I can wipe it on the table, okay? I'm gonna give this a second or two here to dry just a little bit while I work on my second card. And then, as you guys guessed, I'm gonna peel the purple off and it will leave an awesome white silhouette behind it. So scooch this off to the side here. For the second one, like I said, I'm gonna show you two different ways. I actually just haven't even tried this yet. I'm just gonna kind of experiment. I'm gonna use my paintbrush this time. And instead of dabbing it on, I'm gonna start with my brush on top of the purple and sort of swipe away from it like that. And dip it in again. And you can alternate between red and white, letting them blend however you want to. You might notice that as I'm working around these hearts here, from time to time I'm putting a finger or two down on top of the purple. That's only because I'm starting to see it kind of bend up a little bit, and I really want to make sure that those edges stay down flat, because that's what makes the silhouette look so good, right, is when it does leave that white sort of space behind it once you take the purple paper off. Awesome. Okay, so now since this one is drying a little bit, I'm actually gonna scoot this one back over, go back to the first one that I started with, make sure that my hands are clean, and I'm gonna go ahead and carefully try and pull the purple heart off here. So far so good. Go nice and slow, right? I don't want to rip any of my paper. pieces of tape that are still sticking. I'm gonna go ahead and peel these off. 1, and 2. How cool is that? It turned out so pretty. Obviously it's still a little bit wet, so I'm gonna have to let this one dry. Okay, but I'm gonna set that one off to the side. And then same thing, super very carefully, I'm gonna go ahead and peel my hearts off of this one. There's one. Let's do this a little bitty. 2. I'll make sure my fingers aren't messy. And then the last one. 3. One more piece. Oh, cool. So these turned out so fun. You guys could do any shapes, right? Even if you didn't want to do a heart, you want to do a star, you could spell something out and do the same sort of process with it, okay? So either way, have fun with this. I'm super looking forward to my Valentine workshop. Like I said, I only have a few kits left, so if you're interested in doing projects like this or other things from my Valentine art kit, join me on Thursday, February 11th from 6 to 7 p.m. Make sure that you order your kit on the Tuesday before, which is Tuesday, February 9th. You can find that link on my website, okay? And then feel free to watch some other YouTube videos while you're on my YouTube site. Like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Thanks.